All right, if you're just here for the forecast and want to skip the chit chat, I've got you. Scroll down to the description of this video. There's a chapter indexed there that'll get you to the date that you're interested in. For everyone else, welcome. I'm Michael Spremuli. I'm a professional vibrational astrologer. I've been doing forecasts online for like 2 years now, and I'm switching formats a little bit. Up till this point, I've been doing daily forecasts on all the major platforms, and I'm going to continue to do that, but instead of releasing them individually, I'm going to publish them now all at once so you can binge watch them. Well, why am I doing this? A couple of reasons. Number one, daily production is really difficult when you're having to crank something out, record it, edit, post it, all that sort of stuff. But the main reason is on most of the other platforms, I have to be so fast and so quick. I feel like I'm rushing and I'm not able to really dive into things as thoroughly as I'd like. Now, don't worry, these are not going to get super long-winded or anything like that, but I think it's just time for a change. And that's what we're doing here today. So I'm still going to be doing the entire week, but you're going to get it all at one time. So this may prove to be better because you can end up using that information to then plan your week in advance, rather than just dealing with whatever comes up on that particular day when you might not have had a chance to do anything about it in advance. Now, I'll still be posting highlights of the daily forecast on all platforms, but the main meat of it is going to be here. So I encourage you to bookmark this channel and then come back at the beginning of each week to see what the week has in store for you. Now, for those of you who are my followers and have been watching my work online for the past several years, there's one change that you might not like, and that is I'm not going to be doing the lucky sign of the day. This new format doesn't really work for that. However, if you're interested in how the forecast particularly affects your sign, drop a note in the comments and I'll do my best to respond. And that brings up another question for those of you who may be new. Wait a minute, astrology with no signs? Yeah, vibrational astrology, which is the type of astrology that I practice, operates a bit differently. We're not so much focused on signs, though they do have their place, but we're primarily focused on the underlying combination of planets that create specific energetic processes. And don't worry if that just like hits you in the face and you have no idea what that means. You'll see during the forecast. Whether you're a new follower or an old follower or somewhere in between, I welcome you and I hope you enjoy this new format. So let's get started. Here's your vibrational astrology forecast for Monday, May 19th, 2025. Today's forecast is about having imagination and foresight into the future, which is pretty cool. It's all happening in the 7th vibration. So the 7th vibration brings about this quiet, calm, still internal focus. It's when we get to spend some time alone and reflecting inward as opposed to being focused on activities that are external. Think of it like quiet, personal, focused time. The planets that are active today are Mercury, Jupiter, Neptune, and Pluto. These planets spark imagination, creativity. It helps us figure out where we want to go long term. Because Jupiter is involved, Jupiter tends to make things big. It expands whatever it touches. Neptune helps us focus on what is magical and important for us. And then Pluto comes in and adds an intensifying effect, meaning that we may get wrapped up thinking about new plans, new ideas, things that might radically shape our life off in the distance. And let's not forget Mercury, because Mercury is the connector of ideas. So what does all this mean today? Because this is in the 7th vibration, you want to spend a little time by yourself someplace. You don't have to go sit on the top of a mountain somewhere and meditate for 6 hours. It could be 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever works for you. And spend a little time reflecting on where it is that you want to go. This is a time to let your imagination run wild because Jupiter is involved. And this could relate to a whole bunch of different things. In VA, we focus on the energy, not specific outcomes. So whether you're thinking of expanding your horizons as far as where you live, or maybe changing the type of work that you do, or possibly aspiring to a new relationship, or a relationship if you're not currently in one. Whatever is big and grand and ideal for you is a perfect focus for you to spend a little time thinking about today by using that seventh vibration energy. Here's why. If you put yourself into this calm, quiet focus, which is what the planets are encouraging you to do, you'll be able to come up with some ideas that really resonate with you at a personal level. Things that can help get the wheels in motion for pursuing whatever these expansive type activities are that resonate with you. So take some time today, pull yourself out of the craziness, and just be. You don't have to even do anything. If you want to read a book, that's cool. You want to listen to music, that's cool. But put yourself in that protected space and see what information ends up coming up for you that could help you end up shaping your future. The main thing to keep in mind with this forecast is focusing on the grand scale. This is not about solving individual problems that are here this week and will be gone next. It's more of a trajectory that you want to put yourself on, and today's energy can help you clarify that. Here's your vibrational astrology forecast for Tuesday, May 20th, 2025. And the theme of the day is work and discipline. Today's forecast all happens inside of the 8th vibration, which basically is a higher octave of the first or natal vibration. Why does that matter? Because when things are active in the 8th vibe, we tend to feel them more strongly. This energy tends to impact our core motivators and drivers, and we tend to notice it more easily. The planets that are involved today are the Moon, Mars, Saturn, and Pluto. These planets are about doing hard work, sometimes not fun work. They're about a type of sacrifice. But all is not lost. This isn't that you're going to be doing work or engaging in activities that aren't going to have some type of payoff. They will. In fact, the payoff can be quite strong, but you have to slog through the dirty work. So here's a little bit of a breakdown. Mars gives you the action to want to do something. Without Mars, we'd stay stuck in bed all day. Saturn helps you take out the distractions of anything that could get in the way. So this is where that focus and a little bit of sacrifice comes from. We may not be able to sit and play Nintendo all day long because we have things that have to get done. The moon's involvement brings a little bit of this feeling of isolation where we just want to kind of hunker down and do whatever needs to be done without relying on other people. And then we have Pluto again, and Pluto is the grand intensifier. It amps up whatever energy is there to begin with, but whatever planets Pluto aspects with, it turns up this dog with a bone like energy where you just won't stop until you get something done. When we put all this together, what we get is energy that enables you to sacrifice to pursue something that is important for you. It may not be fun. It's certainly not going to be glitzy or glamorous, but this energy helps you almost put cosmic blinders on so that you can zone in to whatever project, task, issue, whatever it is that you have to focus and deal with. That's what this energy is optimal for. You might even find a little bit of friendly competition while you're doing this, because when the Moon and Mars show up, that can often bring out a competitive side in us. That's not a bad thing. Lean into that and use it to get done whatever needs to get done. This doesn't mean that you're not going to be able to have fun and party ever again, but today is a work and discipline day. So focus your activities on things that will end up producing results for you, and watch how that unfolds once you dial in and connect with that actual energy. The other thing that could show up today, I'm not saying it's going to, but it could, is a higher probability, is some emotional compulsivity. Because the moon is involved, which relates to emotions and feelings and a whole bunch of other things. And then we have Mars and Pluto. That can make our emotions run a little hot. So keep that in mind, especially if you're trying to hunker down and do something, and then you have someone else come in and interrupt you and breaks your flow. Be aware of your emotional response, because this energy could sometimes amp that up to the point where it may get a little too intense, and that could cause problems. So there you have it. Here's your vibrational astrology forecast for Wednesday, May 21st, 2025. Today's energy is completely different from yesterday's energy. In fact, you'll probably enjoy it a lot more. Everything is happening inside of the ninth vibration. What is the ninth vibration, you ask? It has to do with our communities, wherever you feel at home. It's almost like your safe zone or comfort zone. These could be your home community, workplace community, faith-based community, clubs that you hang out with, wherever everybody knows your name. That's the main energy that is active today. The planets that are active today are the Moon, Venus, Mars, and Jupiter. And before I get into the actual interpretation, I want to give you some words that I jotted down that basically describe this type of energy. Things like creativity, being productive, being generous, expressing feelings openly, constructive, and dealing with things in a direct and straightforward manner. Okay, well, that's cool, but what do we do with this sort of stuff? When we have the Moon, Venus, and Jupiter connected, this tends to bring a very welcoming and embracing type of energy. It opens up our minds and hearts to work with other people. What type of people? People in our communities. So there's a lot of cooperation that could be present today, a lot of give and take. Well, let's not forget Mars, because Mars gives you the drive and action. Remember, in vibrational astrology, in some ways, it's so simple yet complex. Every planet, every sign, every house, everything regulates one particular energetic process. And when we combine what is involved, we basically blend those energies together to form a type of a recipe. When looking at the energy of today, this is a day to work with your community collaboratively. You don't have to blaze your own trail, but show up and ask, what can I do to help? And here's the thing. Remember, this energy is hitting everyone. It's going to hit us differently depending on what's going on in our natal charts. So some of you will experience this more or less, and it has nothing to do with your sign. So you're going to run into other people who are willing to help you. That's the nature of the energy. It's sort of like the stage that we are on at any given point, and the configuration of that stage based on the players that are involved. So spend this day from the perspective of, how can I be of service? And serve that community that you're a part of. And you'll find that that energy ends up coming back to you from others who are in the community working toward a common goal. Here's your vibrational astrology forecast for Thursday, May 22nd, 2025. The theme of today's energy is concentrate. Everything is happening inside of the 17th vibration. Now, the 17th vibe enables you to tune in to other people's stories. Think of it as a form of empathy. When the 17th vibe is active, it enables us to easily see, more easily than usual, where someone is coming from. What is their perspective on a situation? Thus, the term empathy. So it enables us to really dial in and see what someone else may be going through, what issues they may have in their life, and it shifts our perception to view the world from someone else's perspective. The planets that are involved today are the Moon, Mercury, and Saturn. These planets bring that intense mental concentration and focus. The Moon enables us to tap in to our emotional status. Saturn takes out anything that is not needed, and Mercury helps you focus on the thoughts and ideas. So when we put this forecast together, this is a day when you take that energy of the 17th vibration and you're able to understand the stories and perceptions and needs of others. When you take this Moon, Mars, and Saturn energy and then focus your concentration to help someone else, that is the deal with this forecast today. You may end up helping someone do some really focused work that requires a lot of concentration that they may be struggling with. They may want to get it done, but for whatever reason, they just don't have the wherewithal at this moment to navigate through that. It's about using this concentration, not for your own benefit, although you probably could to some degree, but the way the energy is designed to flow is to use your gifts and your talents and things that are really easy for you to do and concentrate on to better someone else's life. Now, this could be a family member, could be someone you work with, someone you work for, could be someone out in the community. You're not limited as to where you can channel this type of energy, but the idea is focus on how you can help someone else who might be needing some assistance. This is totally different than the ninth vibe. That's more of collaboration and working together. It's here where you bring your expertise to the table and utilize that to step into someone else's world, not to take over, not to dominate the situation, but to offer assistance where you can. Here's your vibrational astrology forecast for Friday, May 23rd, 2025. The theme of the day is the big picture. The active vibration today is the 23rd vibration. And this is a cool one. Not that I have favorites, but the 23rd vibe has to do with taking calculated risks. So let me unpack that a little bit. When the 23rd vibe is active, it gives us a little bit of a nudge to venture into an area that might not be guaranteed, probably isn't guaranteed, but it does awaken within us this ability to weigh out the pros and cons. In other words, what are the positives if I make this decision? And what are the potential negatives if I make this decision or not make a decision? So it helps us create one of those pro-con lists, even if you just do it in your mind, to weigh out whatever may be happening. And we could use that information to then guide our decisions. Now we need to look at the planets, because in vibrational astrology, the planets always serve the vibration. So there's this theme of calculated risk, but the planetary theme is about looking at the big picture. Because here's what's active today: the Sun, Mercury, and Jupiter. The Sun, Mercury, and Jupiter helps you understand things from a 30,000-foot overview. It helps you understand big concepts, new ideas. Remember Jupiter, it's expansive and it brings in new expansive things. This is why it's often associated with travel. This energy can be both eye-opening and mind-opening. You may start to explore or look at different philosophies, different ways of viewing the world, different political systems, different religious systems. In short, it opens our minds to seeing new information. Well, now we got to put it together. How do these planets behave in the 23rd vibration? Here's where the magic happens. So the 23rd vibe is about calculated risks. These planets are about bringing new information to the table. And now it's up for you to determine, well, do I act on this new information or not? So let's use that example of a business. Let's say you're deciding, maybe should I go into this business, buy a franchise, start something? This 23rd Vibe Day is an excellent opportunity to lay out the pros. Here are the benefits. Here's what it can help do for my life, my family, my finances, and then weigh out the negatives. How is this going to negatively impact my life, my family, potentially my finances? And you weigh all that information out so that you can then begin to take a calculated risk. This is not about jumping on the bandwagon of a trend or something new that's happening. The 23rd vibe gives us that pause to reflect and determine, is this worth rolling the dice on? And there are no guarantees, obviously. You may roll the dice after doing all your research and things don't work out. Okay, well, hopefully you spent some time examining what could happen if things don't work out as well as if they do. Use this energy to explore some big idea, the big picture, and weigh out the pros and cons and determine if it's something you want to dig into further or maybe not. Either way, it's okay. Here's your vibrational astrology forecast for Saturday, May 24th, 2025. We're back in the 9th vibration again today, which has to do with our communities, wherever you feel at home, at work, your neighborhood, clubs you belong to, your church, these type of environments where you feel very, very comfortable. The active planets today are the Sun, Mercury, and Mars. These planets by themselves are about learning new information, the ability to connect thoughts quickly and easily. Something I haven't spoken about during these recent forecasts all that much is the sun. And the sun is sort of like air and water. It's everything, but we often take it for granted. When the sun is present in an aspect, it shines a direct light on whatever it is that is happening. There's nothing mystical about the sun. There's nothing magical about the sun. It's a clear and present focus on whatever else is going on. So when we put all this together for today's forecast, today is a day when the Sun, Mercury, and Mars can prompt you to learn new things to benefit your community. Maybe you're part of a community where you're having some sort of meeting or plan or organizational day to get some things scheduled. Well, that's a great thing because these planets can help you learn and understand what needs to happen next. Another way that this energy can manifest itself is that you end up specifically learning something to serve your community. Maybe your church has got a leaky faucet in the basement and the maintenance man's on vacation, and you might not know much about how to deal with plumbing. Today could be a day where it's like, I'll figure this out. I'll go to YouTube, watch some videos, go down to the church, fix the leaky sink, and we don't have to spend any money on plumbing. Those are just a couple of examples of the type of information and ideas that can surface with a Sun, Mercury, Mars combination. Now, there is a little bit of a warning that comes with this forecast. The Sun, Mercury, and Mars can make us a bit sharp-tongued. We might think we know exactly what needs to happen, and we just blurt it out in front of everybody else, and we may not want to listen to other people's opinions. So it's important to position whatever information you might want to share in your community in a way that can be receptive and not from a position of being overbearing or dominating. So we need to look at how we say whatever it is that we need to say. It's just as important. So get out there, learn something, use your knowledge to benefit your community. Here's your vibrational astrology forecast for the last day in this week, Sunday, May 25th, 2025. The vibration that is active today is the 11th vibration. Now, the 11th vibration brings a restless type of energy. It's almost like you're fidgeting around wanting to do something. I often refer to this as you're sitting on G, waiting on O. In other words, I can't just sit still here and watch the cars rust. I got to do something. This is not a relaxing type of energy. It's a drive to want to be productive and accomplish something. Now, what varies that, of course, are the planets that are active in the vibration. And get this, the same 3 planets that are active today were active on Friday. I'm talking about the Sun, Mercury, and Jupiter. Now, Friday's forecast occurred in the 23rd vibration, which is a completely different energy than the 11th vibration. So how do we interpret this energy of the Sun, Mercury, and Jupiter in the 11th vibe instead of the 23rd vibe? Well, the core planetary energy remains the same. Sun, Mercury, Jupiter is about expanding your thoughts, expanding ideas. But we're not talking about a pro-con list today. We're talking about learning something and diving in to get more knowledge. It could be a subject that you're interested in, a hobby that you focus on, maybe needing to learn or acquire new information to deal with something at work or at home. But the energy of these planets spurs you to understand things from that big perspective. That meaning of the planet still stays the same, but there's this restless energy like, I got to figure this out. I'm tired of not understanding this. I want to know more. I want to figure out what's really going on here. And the here could be one of many different things. Whatever is of interest and important to you today. The energy helps you look at things from different perspectives that might be outside of your normal frame of reference. It doesn't mean that you're going to dive into one of those feet first, but it helps you expand your knowledge to view the situation thoroughly and from every possible angle. So utilize this energy today in the 11th vibration to expand your thoughts, gather more information for something that is important to you. And what ends up happening is when you do that, that restlessness that I spoke of just a moment ago begins to subside and stabilize because you're doing something with that energy rather than let it sit idle. Well, if you've made it this far, thank you so much. This was the first week of me broadcasting these forecasts in this new format. Let me know what you think. Please drop any comments or questions that you have down below, and I'll be happy to respond to as many of them as I can. If these forecasts have sparked your attention and you want to learn more about the type of astrology that I provide, head over to blueridgeastrology.com. You can sign up to get my weekly astro alerts, which are completely free. I alert you about classes that I'm doing. I've actually got one coming up on May 31st, forecasting the whole month of June, and a whole bunch of other resources that I include at blueridgeastrology.com. Thanks so much for watching, and I wish you all a fantastic week.